Good day, everyone. I am Ramontizer Bernardo Lison, your blog partner. So for today's video, I'm gonna show you how to install Windows 7, 8, and 10 using VirtualBox. And also, I'll show you how to format, how to install VirtualBox, and what is the importance of the said Windows. But for today's video, Mr. Jomar Sobrevilla and Miss Jenica Garcia helped me to discuss the Windows 7, 8, and 10. And what are you waiting for? Let's go! How to install VirtualBox. Installer. Go to the official website to download the VirtualBox installer for your operating system, Windows in this case. If you are looking for how to set up VirtualBox on Mac, download the OS X installer. At the moment of writing this blog post, the latest VirtualBox version is 6.0.8. You can also download older version, for example, the version 5.2. VirtualBox 5.2 support 32-bit host, while VirtualBox 6.0 doesn't in the current example. You can see how to set up VirtualBox on an example of VirtualBox 5.2 in the next blog. Post the VirtualBox upgrade process will be explained. Number 1. Run the VirtualBox installer in the installation wizard that has a GUI or the graphic user interface should appear. Number 2. Select the manner in which you want features to be installed. Clicking on the installation directory and install components, you can leave the default values. Then click or tick the checkbox near shortcut option and file association. Number 3. Confirm installation VirtualBox network interface. Click yes. Number 4. On the ready to install screen, hit the install to start the installation process. Number 5. After finishing installation, you can tick the checkbox for starting VirtualBox after installation. Okay, now let's proceed to VirtualBox. First is what is VirtualBox. VirtualBox user can install this cross-platform virtualization tool on any Intel or AMD powered computer. It runs on all major operating systems including Windows, Linux, Oracle, Solaris, and Mac OS. VirtualBox can extend the technical capabilities of any compatible computers, enabling it to run multiple operating systems in different virtual machines at once. For instance, a user run Windows 11 or Ubuntu on their MacBook Air without compromising their existing system configuration or application. VirtualBox allows any system to install and operate as many virtual machines as its memory and disk space allow. Depending on the host system configuration, one can use the solution to deploy anything from desktop class machine and a small embedded system to cloud environments and large data center deployments. Windows 7 were faster boot times, new UIs, and addition of Internet Explorer IE 8. That OS is widely available in 3 retail editions: Windows 7 Home Premium, Professional, and Ultimate. Starter Home Basics and Enterprise Edition are available in some markets. In development, Windows 7 was known by the code names Blackcomb in Vienna. Key features: with Windows 7 user can pin application to the taskbar. In addition, user can arrange the application on the taskbar in any order they see fit. Other additions include libraries for storing files. The default libraries folders include documents, pictures, and videos, each of which has a public and private version. In addition, Windows 7 was the first version of Windows to support multi-touch capabilities. It also features more accurate handwriting recognition. Windows 7 introduced the Snap and Shake capabilities. Snap enables a user to drag an open window to the left or right side of the screen and have it automatically resize to take up half the screen. If user pulls the windows off the side, it reverts to the size and shape it was before he snapped it to the side of the screen. A user can automatically maximize the windows by dragging it to the top of the screen. With Shake, users can hide all inactive windows to reveal the desktop by clicking the top of an open window and quickly dragging it back and forth. User can also easily reach the desktop with Show Desktop button on the bottom of the screen, which minimizes all Windows 7 has the following hardware requirements according to Microsoft: 1 GHz processor 32 or 64-bit, 1 GB of RAM 32-bit, 2 GB of RAM 64-bit, 16 GB of available disk space 32-bit, 20 GB of available disk space 64-bit. DirectX 9 graphics device Windows will display drivers Model 1.0 or higher driver. Windows 8 represent a more substantial changes than some former Windows version. This starts with a more versatile interface that can accommodate touchscreen use as well as new authentication method, including a picture password option that replaces the text password with a virtual sign-on. Windows 8 also can run on ARM or limited memory devices. New applications for this operating system use HTML5 and JavaScript. Multi-screen features are meant to enable more productivity. This OS is also designed to operate on a wider range of mobile consumers' devices. Windows 10. Number 1. Improved security. Windows 10 is currently rated as Microsoft's most secure operating system ever, and it has proven with worth over and over again. The improved Windows 10 security features had made it easier for business to have their data, devices, and user protected 24/7. For instance, one of the pros of Windows 10 is the Advanced Threat Protection (ATP) was unaffected in the largest global ransomware attack, also known as WannaCry. Business, especially small and mid-sizes, can take advantage of the cybersecurity defense and the vast productivity benefits of Windows 10 enterprises offered through cloud solution provider to protect against ransomware and cyber threats. Now, such as business can enjoy the benefits of Windows 10 enterprises, great security and control without usual complexity or high costs. Number 2. Interact with your computer using Cortana voice command is one of the key pros of Windows 10, from Xbox One to Siri, to Alexa, Google Assistant, and a whole lot more. And the Cortana on Windows 10 with Cortana, you can now interact with your computer conveniently on hands-free. For instance, you can say, "Hey Cortana, open Facebook," or "Hey Cortana, play music." But these are just the basics. Number 3. Do more things in less amount of time and speed. Speed is one of the most crucial features of computing. One of the key pros of Windows 10 is that the OS was designed to deliver high-speed performances. So now, you can do a whole lot more on your computer with less amount of time. Windows 10 speed is a massive improvement on the speed of Windows 7 and Windows 8.1. This is another key reason to consider a Windows 10 upgrade for Windows 7. In fact, operating systems designed on speed like Mac OS X also end up trying to catch up with the initial Windows 10's start times. So, there are several videos online including YouTube that shows how Windows 10's open faster on Mac than the traditional OS X. The reason for such a speedy start times is simple. Windows 10 restructures the entire startup experience, eliminating bloatware and redundant startup process. The outcome of amazingly fast and user-friendly experience one of the major pros of Windows 10. Number 4. Scale seamlessly. At a reasonable cost, scaling your business technology at an affordable cost absolutely crucial, and is one of the pros of Windows 10. With the Windows 10 Enterprise, you can enjoy the benefits of pay-as-you-go subscription model through Cloud Solution Provider (CSP). This means that as your business needs change, for instance, some workers leave and you hire new ones, you can scale up or down per user from month to month. Also, it means that a cloud solution provider can bring new employees and reassign license as required. This is one of the key benefits of Windows 10. Furthermore, Windows 10 enterprises allow small, medium, and scale business to access enterprise-grade security features and productivity at affordable cost, depending on the business security needs. This is one of the advantages of Windows 7 over Windows 10 over Windows 7. Enhanced usability. One of the key pros of Windows 10 it is user-friendly design. With Windows 10, Microsoft successfully combined the best usability features from Windows 7 and Windows 8.1 to create an improved operating system. For instance, Windows 10 combines the popular Start button with Start tiles to make the OS or operating system more user-friendly. Once you click on the Start button, it expands to a larger tile portal, giving you the control and simplicity that the Start button offers, as well as graphic displays and live updates on Windows 8 Start tile. Windows 10 is designed with an option to activate and use touchscreens feature. Through this depends on the device. If you prefer communicating with your screen via touch, Windows 10 allows you to do this on your desktop and laptop. And another key benefits of upgrading Windows.
Now, you can install Windows 7 in a virtual machine using VirtualBox. Open VirtualBox, select New, give your Windows 7 virtual machine a name. Now decide how much memory to allocate to the virtual machine. How much you allocate depends on the host system as well as what you use Windows 7 for. For example, my desktop has 16GB RAM, so I can afford to allocate the virtual machine more memory so that it runs faster. In this case, I'm allocating 2048 MB, which is 2GB. In the bottom panel, select Create a virtual hard disk now, then Create. Next, configure the Windows 7 virtual machine disk size. Microscope recommends a minimum of 16GB storage for Windows 7. Allocate as much as you want to need, but make sure it is more than 16 GB. Keep the hard disk file type as a BDI. You can move this virtual machine disk type to other virtual machine software. And let VirtualBox dynamically allocate the disk size. If you need more storage than you allocate, the disk can dynamically expand. Hit Create. Configure your Windows 7 virtual machine before hitting Start. There you are, a few options that you must configure. Right-click the virtual machine and select Settings. Now, under the System tab, select Processor. You have the option of allocating your Windows 7 virtual machine more processing by way of assisting another processor core. If you have a multi-core system, assigning an extra core will give you a faster virtual machine experience depending on your system hardware. It could result in slower performance for the host machine. Next, under the Display tab, increase the video memory to 128 MB. Onto the Storage tab, here is where you insert your Windows 7 ISO. Under Storage Devices, select the empty slot. Then under Attributes, select the disk icon browse. The allocation of Windows 7 ISO, press OK. You're now ready to boot your Windows 7 VirtualBox virtual machine for the first time. Windows 7 Installation Guide. When the virtual machine boots, select your keyboard language and continue. Hit Install now, then accept the listening agreement. On the next page, select Custom, then select the virtual disk image drive created earlier. After that, the Windows 7 installation process will start. Go and make a cup of tea because this can take a moment. After the installation process completes, your Windows 7 virtual machine will start automatically. Windows 7 will restart a few times during the installation process. It is nothing to worry about. Do not touch a key when prompted or you will return to the Install Now option rather than letting the installer do its thing. Eventually, you will arrive at the 7 Windows username setup followed by the password creation page. Next up is to input your Windows 7 product key. If you already input your product key and downloaded Windows 7 direct from the microscope, you might not encounter this page. If you do not have a 7 window product key, now you can skip this page, but your Windows 7 virtual machine will have limited functionality. Use the recommended security settings. Choose your time zone and continue. Install the VirtualBox Guest Edition ISO. The final setup is for the VirtualBox Guest Edition ISO. VirtualBox Guest Editions give your virtual machines better mouse pointer integration, the use of shared files between the host and the client, between video support, shared clipboards, and a host of other handy tools. Head to Devices, insert Guest Edition CD image. Inside the Windows 7 virtual machine, select Start menu, Computer. Open the Guest Edition CD image. Then run VBox Windows Editions. Install the Guest Editions, then reboot. Windows 7 End of Life Support Date Microscope Shut Off. Windows 7 Live Support on 14 January 2020. Some companies, products, and services have no choice but continue using Windows 7. But if you're a home user who is clinging to Windows 7 because it is familiar, the end of life date for Windows 7 has come and gone, and you should no longer use this antiquated and potentially dangerous operating system.
On VirtualBox. I'm using Ubuntu operating system as my host for VirtualBox, but the procedure will be same if you are using Windows or Mac OS as a host for VirtualBox. So one important thing you need to have for installing Windows 8.1 is obviously the Windows 8.1 ISO file or installation file, and this You can download for free if you want to evaluate Windows 8.1 or Windows 8. You can download it for free from Windows site. I will give you a link for the video in which I have shown you how you can download Windows 8.1 or Windows 8 for evaluation for 90 days for free. So just click that link and you can download Windows 8.1 for free for 90 days. You can use it for 90 days, and then you need to buy it or register that Windows to Microsoft. So let's see how we can install that ISO file which you have downloaded in VirtualBox. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this new, and in here I will choose the name for my Windows. So I will name my Windows as Windows 8.1, and in here you can see it has automatically recognized that I want the version Windows 8.1, and it's the type Microsoft Windows. If you don't see Windows 8.1 64-bit here, you can just click this combo box and you can choose for Windows 8.1 or whatever version of Windows you have. And you also need to choose the bit or version or bit of the version you have downloaded. I have downloaded 64-bit version of Windows 8.1, so I will select 64-bit and click next. And in here it will show the memory size you need to give to install Windows 8. I will leave it as default and I will go further, next, and this will be the same, create virtual hard drive. Yes, I want to create it, so I will click create, and I want to use VDI, which is VirtualBox disk image. Click next, and I want to allocate dynamically allocated hard drive, physical hard drive. Click next, and in here you can allocate hard drive or hard drive size which you want to allocate to your operating system. By default it's 25 GB, so I will leave it as default, but you can increase it on the basis of the hard drive which is available on your system. And I will say create. Once I say create, it will create a virtual machine for me, but I haven't given any ISO file or installation file to this virtual machine which I have created right now, right? So once you have created your virtual machine, you need to select this and go to the settings, and in here go to systems and go to processor, and you can choose the processors for your operating system. So by default it's 1, but you can increase it to 2, or depending upon the processor in your computer you can increase it also. So I would like to have 2 processors for this, and I will click OK. And now I will just select my virtual machine. I can either right click and click start, or I can select this Windows virtual machine and click this start button. And once it starts, it asks for the ISO file which it needs for the installation of Windows 8.1. So just click this small button here and choose the path of the ISO file you have downloaded for Windows 8.1. So click that file, click open, and click start button. Generally the installation of Windows 8.1 or Windows 8 takes about 30 minutes on VirtualBox. It depends upon the how fast your computer works also, but generally it takes about half an hour, so you need to give half an hour to install this 8.1 on your system. So you can see the installation has started now. It will take some time to start. And now the Windows setup. So in here you can select the language you want to install, select the time, and you can even select the keyboard for your installation, right? So in here, if you want to change the keyboard layout or you want to change the language, you can do it here. Okay, so just click these combo boxes and choose your language and choose your time zone and choose the keyboard layout. For example, I have the German keyboard layout, so I can choose it from here, this one, and I can click next. But if you have US keyboard layout, just leave it as default. Okay, and click next and just click install now. Now the setup is starting. And it says you need to accept this license in order to install Windows 8.1 Enterprise. I will accept the license terms and click next. And in here you have two options: upgrade Windows and keep file setting and application, or custom install. Okay, so by default it's this one, but you can choose this one also. I will just select this this option here. So if you are running this virtual machine on Windows, just click this option, or I am going to choose this custom install Windows. So install Windows only advanced custom option. Just select this, and in here you can give the partition to your Windows operating system or do some advanced stuff, but I will leave it as default because it's my virtual machine. So I will click next, and it says copying Windows file, getting file ready for installation. So it will finish these steps one by one. I will pause the video for the finishing of these steps, and I will restart the video once any important step comes while the installing. Okay, so after installing those features, this VirtualBox prompt me to or Windows installation told me to restart the system. So don't press any key even if it says you need to press some key. So don't press any key in order to restart or reboot, otherwise it will start your installation once again. So even if it asks that you need to press any key, don't press any key while installing this operating system, Windows operating system. Let it do its work and you will be good to go. Okay, so now the process is in the way. I will pause the video and wait for the next step, and right now it's getting ready for installation. You can see here 68%, 87 and 100%. Getting ready. So it takes time to complete the installation. So if you are doing some work, just do your stuff and come back and see if it's still working or not. Okay, So I will just pause the video and I will inform you if any important step occurs. So right now it's rebooting. As I have told you, don't press any key while your installation is going on, right? So it's doing its stuff here. And once that installation is complete, then it will ask for the PC name you need to give. So in here you need to give the PC name, whatever PC name you want to give to your Windows operating system. I will give the PC name, for example, programming knowledge, and I will press enter. And it says it's too long, so let's say I will give the name user, for example, and press enter. And these are the settings from the Microsoft. So we will go further. There is a privacy statement here and some information about this. Okay, so once you have read all these condition and privacy,
there are a lot of practical reasons to set up an OS like Windows 10 in a VM rather than using it as a native installation. If you have to deal with files you can trust, need to test multiple OS installation on the same system, or need access to the operating system without wanting to use it as a daily driver. Using it, a VM offers access to its features and capabilities without worrying about needing to keep the OS installation around long term. Luckily, setting up Windows 10 in a VM is particularly difficult. Note: while this guide uses VirtualBox, it is not the only free VM software available. VMware Workstation Player is another option. On Mac, there are solutions like VMware Fusion and Parallels, but VMware Fusion has two near-term plans to support x86 architecture VMs on M1 solution. Parallels has explicitly shipped software that does support x86 VMs on M1 system. VMware has announced that Linux, not Windows, it is a priority as far as Mac support is concerned. VirtualBox installation. Number 1. Download the Windows 10 ISO. First up, head over the Windows 10's download page. If you are the Windows user, MS will prompt you to download the media creation tools before allowing you to download an OS image. You can use this tool to create an ISO file locally, or you can follow this additional instruction if you want to download the ISO manually without being First, to grab the tools first. Number 2. Create a new virtual machine. Go to VirtualBox website and download the latest version of Oracle's free open source software. Go through the installation process and then launch an application. Press the new button and then name your virtual machine. Make sure your type is set to Microsoft Windows and your version is set to Windows 10. Just make sure you match the x64 version with a 64-bit VM and the x86 version with a 32-bit VM. 3. Allocate RAM. Now, you need to decide how much RAM you want to allocate for this VM for the x86 version. You'll need at least a 1 gig of RAM. For the x64 version, you'll need 2 gig. I have 16 gig of RAM in my desktop, so I decided that 4 gig was right for my configuration. Whatever you decide, just make sure you stay in the green. If you allocate too much RAM, you'll end up with serious performance issue. Number 4. Create a virtual drive. Next, you need to create a virtual drive. Microsoft says that 16 gig is the minimum space needed for the 32-bit version, but 22 gig is required for the 64-bit version. I decided on the 50 gig virtual drive on my desktop, but feel free to make it as large as you need. Just be assured that you have enough space on your actual hard drive to handle the size of your virtual drive. Depending on what you needed to do with the OS, you may want to allocate 4 or less storage applications installed to a VM. Should be assumed to require the same amount of real storage that their standard installation world. Number 5. Locate the Windows 10 ISO. Now, go into the setting for the virtual machine and navigate to the storage tab. Click and disk icon with a green plus next to controller SATA. Click choose disk and then locate the Windows 10 ISO you downloaded earlier. Number 6. Configure video setting. Before you jump in the installing Windows 10, move over the display tab. You can configure how much video memory you're willing to allocate to the virtual machine, but make sure you stay in the green. You can also toggle on 3D acceleration if you like. Number 7. Launch the installer. With all of the setup finished, press the start button in the VirtualBox and begin the Windows 10 installation process. Follow the instruction on the green and you're well on your way. Number 8. Install VirtualBox Guest Edition. Once you're at the window 10, the step you need to install all of the proper drivers for VirtualBox in the VirtualBox UI. Go to device and then select the insert guest addition CD image and navigate to the disk image in Window Explorer and run and installer. Have gone through the entire process, you'll need to reboot the VM. Number 9. You're ready to start. Back at the desktop, you can finally use full screen mode at the proper solution in the VirtualBox menu. Go to View and select Switch to full screen. For the most part, this is now the same experience you'd have running in the natively. Enjoy yourself and
And this is where my blog ends. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you learned something from our videos. And everything is new, don't forget to like, share, and hit the notification bell so that you are always updated on all our videos. I am Ramon Taiza Bernardo Laison, your blog partner.